His quick attacks left her with no time to react. The power dynamic between them had shifted in an instant. Elsa clutched her abdomen. She winced in pain as she squatted on the ground, struggling to catch her breath. Meanwhile, the man picked up her pistol. His voice was full of contempt as he asked, "Bitch, did you really think I'm that easy to deal with?" Kenji asked in a menacing tone. "What's going on, Rambo?" The man known as Rambo replied, "Boss, this woman barged in to ask about the gambling session. She seemed prepared, so I lured her here on purpose." Kenji glanced at Elsa, then shifted his gaze to Wilbur. He said slowly, "It seems you're both in cahoots." "You could put it that way," Wilbur replied casually. Kenji chuckled and said, "It seems you've planned this out. Are you trying to set me up?" "I am." Wilbur smiled. Kenji sneered and asked, "With just the two of you, it's quite a joke. So, what's the plan now?" "She's the vice captain of the criminal investigation department. Do you dare lay a finger on her?" Wilbur asked. Kenji answered coldly, "I don't care who she is. Anyone who dares to come at me will be dead meat." Elsa finally regained her strength. She declared sternly, "Kenji, you're way too audacious. Having connections doesn't give you free rein. You won't get away with it if anything happens to either of us. A lot of people know I'm here, so think it through." "Think it through?" Kenji sneered and said, "I've thought it through very well. I'm going to get rid of you both immediately. Kenji, someone will trace it back here if anything happens to us. You won't get away with it," Elsa snapped. Kenji laughed and said, "Rest assured, those who know you're here won't dare utter a word. The power of our Lilith clan goes far beyond your imagination. Rambo, get rid of her first." "Yes, sir." Rambo slowly approached Elsa. Elsa was despairing at that point. Kenji's arrogance far exceeded her imagination. Rambo was a supreme expert, and he was undoubtedly way beyond her in combat. She did not stand a chance against him. Elsa looked at Wilbur. Her voice was filled with sorrow as she said, "I'm sorry for dragging you into this." "What are you saying?" Wilbur smiled and said, "You're about to be promoted. Cheer up." It sounded like a joke to Elsa, but she could not muster a smile. Kenji laughed and said, "Buddy, I must admit that I'm quite impressed that you can still crack jokes in this situation. You're quite extraordinary." "You're right." Wilbur smiled. He suddenly stood up, and without any visible movement, a surge of invisible force emanated from him, forcing the two bodyguards to step back. Then, he turned swiftly and delivered a flying kick. The two bodyguards let out painful cries as they were sent flying. Next, Wilbur appeared in front of Rambo with a swift movement. Rambo had blurred vision for a moment, and he took a solid punch to the nose. His blood sprayed in the air as his bulky body was sent flying away. Wilbur casually picked up the pistol that Rambo dropped and fiddled with it for a bit. The two bodyguards and Rambo all fell heavily to the ground. His rapid sequence of actions had taken place in the blink of an eye. Kenji and his goons had no time to comprehend what had just occurred. All they saw were the two bodyguards and Rambo knocked down inexplicably.